WWE and good taste don't exactly go hand in hand. Almost from WWE's inception, Vince McMahon's sports entertainment juggernaut has relied on varying degrees of raunchy humor and shock value to pop ratings. During the Attitude Era, these tactics worked like a charm, luring horny teenagers like moths to a flame lit with puppies and beer baths, but a flame nonetheless. Despite shifting towards a more family-friendly product in the years since the Attitude Era, however, WWE still relies on raw storytelling to further the occasional angle. It's in the name of their flagship show after all. Sometimes it works, sometimes it shoots all over your patience. More often than not, WWE's attempts at edginess feel contrived and devoid of any genuine heat. I'm Gareth from What Culture Wrestling, and here are 10 times WWE tried to be edgy and failed miserably. Number 10, Raw Underground. Raw Underground, we hardly knew ye. Unleashed on unsuspecting audiences in August, Raw Underground took viewers from the plush corridors of the Performance Center to a dank basement warehouse where the fighting was more real, more visceral, more, raw. It had potential, we'll give it that. With Shane McMahon at the helm, the whole affair felt more akin to your UFC-loving dad's midlife crisis than an injection of reality into a bloated sports entertainment spectacle. Part Fight Club knockoff, part bizarre cult gathering, Raw Underground never really clicked. Nobody could buy that its bouts were anything but predetermined, and without the fun of sports entertainment, it was honestly just boring. On the bright side though, Raw Underground was a unique way of showcasing new talent. The monstrous Dabba Kato was easily Raw Underground's brightest star, riding roughshod over the show's basement dwellers until getting Braun Strowman's hands. With Raw Underground's recent cancellation, we can only assume its dilapidated digs will transform from secret pit fighting compound to Shane McMahon's new man cave. Number 9, Shayna Basler's Vampire Diary. Shayna Basler is a monster, a terrific athlete with a legitimate mixed martial arts pedigree. Basler hardly needs to rely on a cheap gimmick to look intimidating. We're never not scared of her, and that's not going to change anytime soon. When Basler debuted on Raw in February, setting her sights firmly on Becky Lynch of all people, fans expected her to dominate the long-standing champion. They never expected her to resort to cannibalism, like a stranded climber on Mount Everest. Yet that's precisely what happened. After attacking Lynch and knocking her out with the Kirifuda clutch, Basler removed her mouthguard and bit her unsuspecting victim on the neck. Yes, it turned out the cage fighter was now a rage biter. As Basler stood up, her mouth dripping in Lynch's supposed blood, the audience groaned with disgust. Even the Twilight fans in the crowd had seen enough. It was tacky, it was gross, and it did nothing for Basler, who was subsequently defeated by Lynch in surprise fashion at WrestleMania. Basler didn't need this kind of bloody spectacle to prove she's an absolute unit. Save the vampires for Hollywood. Team Jacob though, for the record. Number 8, Phil Brooks talking to Paula Vick. At the height of WWE's Summer of Punk, Triple H arrived like a wet blanket to cool WWE's red-hot anti-hero CM Punk. With Punk riding a wave of popularity following his legendary pipe bomb, fans expected a clear path for him up the WWE mountain, calling himself the voice of the voiceless. Punk's promos resonated because they blurred fact and fiction, channeling his own frustrations as well as those of the WWE universe. When Triple H wanted a piece of the action, he and Punk played off their real-life tension. Punk felt perennially held back by Triple H, who in turn mocked him through obscure fitness terminology. It was a feud laden with more cheese than a fondue pot. Yet the most cringe-worthy moment came when, to demonstrate his hostility towards Triple H, Punk invoked their real names, declaring, "This is Phil Brooks talking to Paula Vick." In fact, it was so raw, Punk's microphone was cut twice. Even Triple H feigned outrage, demanding answers from a hapless WWE staffer. Sadly, no amount of acting could make this moment seem sincere though. It just felt so forced. Sometimes the fourth wall is there for a reason. Number 7, the eye for an eye match. Rey Mysterio's never-ending feud with Seth Rollins reached dizzying levels of disgust during the horror show at Extreme Rules, when the two squared off in the instantly notorious eye for an eye match. The stipulation was as ludicrous as it was ill-conceived, with extracting your opponent's eye the only way to secure victory. This was no surgical strike though. Rather than target the other's eyeball with precision, the match consisted of Rollins and Mysterio relying on WWE's standard assortment of weapons, from kendo sticks to steel chairs. The wrestling itself wasn't too shabby, but as gross as it was, nobody was ever gonna take this match seriously. When Rollins used the pointy corner of some ringside steps to pop Rey's eye out, audiences were treated to the hilarious sight of a red and white ping pong ball. Don't worry folks, his optic nerve was intact. Our patience, on the other hand, well, that was severed a long time ago. Number 6, Choppy Choppy. Making his debut in May 1998 as a pornographic film star turned wrestler, there was absolutely nothing subtle about Val Venus. With all that testosterone and flagrant towel waving, it wasn't long before Venus's promiscuity got him in trouble. Sure enough, Venus was soon thrust into a feud with the Japanese stable Kaientai over his affair with manager Yamaguchi-san's storyline wife. Promising revenge, Yamaguchi-san showed up with a sword and salami to Monday Night Raw. Although initially successful in fending off Kaientai, Venus was betrayed by his tag team partner Taka Michinoku, who revealed that he was in fact Mrs. Yamaguchi-san's brother. This led to the angle's most memorable moment, when Kaientai'd up Venus backstage and appeared set to castrate him once and for all. Is this the end of our hero? It was pure attitude era. But the ridiculous sight of Yamaguchi-san threatening to choppy the big Valboski's salami neutered any real underlying danger. Plus, Venus informing fans he'd been saved by his friend John Wayne Bobbitt, a man accused of sexually assaulting and beating his wife, was just beyond tasteless. Number 5, Muhammad Hassan attacks The Undertaker. Portraying himself as a wrestler of Jordanian-Palestinian heritage, fighting the unfair treatment of Arab Americans post 9/11, Muhammad Hassan's arrival exploited the ongoing war on terror. There was admittedly loads of potential in Hassan's character. In the right hands, he would have made an unlikely, compelling babyface in his battle against discrimination. But this is WWE we're talking about. Rather than depict Hassan with any nuance, his character relied heavily on cliched stereotypes. He was presented as a religious zealot, and his promos were often translated into Persian by his manager Daivari. With typical crudeness, WWE's broadcast team regularly claimed Daivari was speaking Arabic. What a complete farce. Of course, these issues paled next to Hassan's most offensive moment. Following Daivari's defeat at the hands of The Undertaker, Hassan summoned 5 masked men, who proceeded to beat and choke the dead man. Although it was an already cheap segment, airing as it did on the same day as the 2005 London bombings was reprehensible. WWE quickly shuffled Hassan from all programming, and it was probably for the best, really. Number 4, Heidenreich assaulting Michael Cole. Paired with manager Paul Heyman in 2004, Heidenreich was presented as a total psychopath. He attacked fans, he interfered in matches, he performed poetry. What a sicko. However, it was Heidenreich's abduction of commentator Michael Cole on an episode of SmackDown that was far more unsettling than any bad poem. Dragging Cole backstage, Heidenreich locked them in a room together, then thrust towards Cole from behind, all while growling suggestively into his ear. There was no doubt about it. Audiences were supposed to believe Heidenreich was sexually assaulting Cole. It was absolutely disgusting, and to this day represents one of the company's true low points. Number 3, Triple H and Katy Vick. Triple H is no stranger to controversy. The D-Generation X co-founder has landed himself in the middle of plenty of gross-out gimmicks over the years. None like this one though. As Triple H built to his match with the Devil's favorite burn victim Kane at 2002's No Mercy pay-per-view, their feud took a decidedly dark twist. Claiming that years earlier Kane felt an unrequited love for a woman known as Katy Vick, Triple H accused the Big Red Machine of causing her demise. According to Hunter, not only had Kane intentionally crashed the vehicle carrying him and Vick, he had sexually assaulted her corpse after finding her dead. The angle culminated in Triple H revealing footage supposedly showing Kane taking liberties with Vick's body. In reality, as you've probably guessed by now, it was Triple H doing a weak Kane impression in a funeral home. He was seen mounting a mannequin in a coffin as romantic music accompanied his every grunt and groan. Oh god, it just does not get any easier to watch. Much to nobody's surprise, the angle tanked with fans and critics alike. Number 2. Hawk's self-destruction. In WWE's Attitude Era, no subject was off limits. Legion of Doom member Hawk learned that the hard way when he found himself in a storyline built around his own self-destruction. WWE blatantly leaned on Hawk's issues with drugs and alcohol. Hawk stumbled to the ring, he fell off the entrance ramp, you get the idea. It was troubling to watch, even by Attitude Era standards. Hawk's behavior prompted the addition of a third member, Droz, to the Legion of Doom, ostensibly to steady the team's focus. The angle's dramatic finale arrived when a suicidal Hawk threatened to jump off the Titantron in front of the live crowd. Droz climbed up, seemingly to rescue Hawk, but instead pushed him over the edge. As if that wasn't bad enough, Droz then claimed he had been secretly enabling Hawk's addictions in order to get him out of the way. Permanently. Hawk and Animal had seen enough. They left WWE and hit the road soon after. Good for them! Number 1. The Brawl for All. Created by writer Vince Russo, WWE's 1998 Brawl for All was a shoot-fighting tournament designed to showcase some of the company's legitimate tough guys. Although imagined as a way of launching favorite Steve Williams towards a big-money showdown with Stone Cold Steve Austin, the resulting tournament was a catastrophe of regrettable injuries and upset victories. Bart Gunn frustrated WWE's plans for Steve Williams by winning the entire tournament in shocking fashion. His reward? Well, losing in seconds to professional boxer Butterbean at WrestleMania 15. Plus, fans hated the slow-paced Brawl for All, which stood in stark contrast to sports entertainment's usual bells and whistles. As revealed in Vice's Dark Side of the Ring series, the entire tournament seemed more about Russo punishing a boastful John Bradshaw Layfield than elevating the eventual winner. Bradshaw did lose to Gunn in the finals, so at least Russo got something out of the Brawl for All. That makes one of us. And that's our list. Know of any other times WWE tried to be edgy and failed miserably? Let us know all about them in the comments section below, and do not forget to like, share, and click on that subscribe button. Also, be sure to head on over to whatculture.com and click on some more awesome articles just like the one this video is based on. I've been Gareth from What Culture Wrestling. Thank you very much for watching, and I'm sure I'll see you very, very soon.